AITA that I told my husband to stop supporting his adult daughter? Story 1. Day. I 47F am very frustrated about this, and thinking long hard and want to know if my feelings are valid. My husband 54M keeps supporting his daughter 27F, who's a single mom. Currently, the daughter lives with her mom and is asking him for help nonstop. Might it be simple or not? I stopped working for a while due to a very bad accident and is living off pension. My husband earns enough to support us, but not to the extreme where he'll have too much disposable income. Just 6 months ago, the daughter asked for money for dental implants. I happily told my husband to be as generous as he can be since it's not always the case, and she rarely asks for money. After that first time, she kept asking for more. One time it was grocery, next it's daycare bills, then phone bills. Just a week ago she asked him to pay some of her bills because she doesn't have a work now. It's becoming a habit, and I think she's too old to be asking him for support, and this needs to stop. I told my husband how frustrated I am, and he was even more upset and disappointed because I am being unreasonable, he said. Now, as of writing, he's giving her $700 weekly, and I just found out yesterday that we are behind rent. I told him how I see him as a really good father, but I don't think it's right, especially when we can barely pay housing, and he just shut me off. It's been 3 days since we stopped talking. AITA, our advice. In situations like this, it's understandable to feel frustrated and concerned about financial stability, especially if it's impacting your ability to cover essential expenses like rent. Your feelings are valid, and it's important to communicate them openly with your husband. However, it's also crucial to approach this conversation with empathy and understanding. Your husband likely feels a strong sense of responsibility towards his daughter, especially considering she's a single mom. It's essential to acknowledge his perspective while also expressing your concerns about the financial strain it's putting on your family. Instead of placing blame or making accusations, try to have a calm and constructive conversation with your husband. Express your worries about the financial situation, discuss possible solutions together, and come to a mutual agreement on how to move forward. You might consider suggesting alternatives to direct financial support, such as helping his daughter find employment, offering assistance with budgeting and financial planning, or setting clear boundaries on the amount and frequency of financial assistance provided. Ultimately, finding a balance that supports both your family's financial well-being and his daughter's needs is key. It may require compromise and understanding from both sides, but with open communication and mutual respect, you can work towards a resolution that benefits everyone involved. First comment. Comment A. He's putting himself and you at financial risk because of his daughter. This is not okay. How will he be able to help her at all if he goes down financially? If he even has a shot at helping her to stabilize, he has to be stable himself so he can assist her when she really needs it. It's so bad for so many right now, but that just means you have to be extra smart about it. Is his daughter working? Is she getting child support? These are things that could remedy her situation, or at least help. If he continues to throw money at her problems, she will lean more and more on him and not learn how to dig herself out. This is a huge disservice to her. Struggle makes people innovative and forces them to become independent and take care of themselves. I'm sorry you're going through this. You are NTA to illuminate the financial danger he's putting himself and you in by giving in to his daughter. Second comment. So he's basically giving $700 per week, basically a whole salary to a grown adult that is already living at someone else's expense while not caring for his very own actual minor child and house expenses? Including asking for childcare money while kid is with her? Well, no wonder she's allowing herself to prefer not to work. It's not sustainable for your marriage, and it's not sustainable for her, as it screams that something is happening with this money. Like, what is his plan, waiting for his son to be 27 to start paying for him too? Because it's now your house need him. Helping people that already receive help while putting your family in precarity is not okay. He would be putting more in this if you were divorced, and he was paying child support, and this is highly unacceptable. He have to get in check with himself. We talk about $700 a week, while rent is not paid. You're way too patient, NTA. Story 2. AITA for telling my mom I don't tell her everything because she tells her husband everything. I've 16F always had some problems. I showed early signs of mental illness when I was still in grade school, and when I lost my dad it compounded everything. I was diagnosed with MDD and panic disorder. My mental health improved over time and I'm medicated, which helps me too. I attend therapy when I need to, and I have a psychiatrist who helps with medications and any other treatments that might be needed. I was always pretty open with my mom, and she was always good with not telling people stuff that I wanted time with or wanted to keep between us, except when she remarried. I was 11 when she remarried, and she hid nothing from her husband. This was something I didn't really like, and when I talked to mom about it, she told me that's just how it was going to be, because keeping stuff from your spouse is the way to ruin your marriage. She told me I never would have minded Dad knowing, and I told her it was because he was my dad. But Frank, her husband, isn't, and I don't want him to know everything about me. Mom told me that's just how it would be. So I would tell my mom stuff still, but not everything. Anything I really want to keep between me and just the person I choose to tell, I don't tell my mom anymore. And she knows this. She figured it out a while ago. But then a few months ago I had something else going on, something that was a lot to handle, and I was talking to my therapist and working through it with them. My mom figured some stuff out, but she told me she wanted me to tell her, and I told her I didn't want to tell her. She told me I could tell her, and I should trust her enough to tell her anything important going on. I said telling her means telling Frank, and I didn't want that. She asked me why it was such a big deal, and I told her, because Frank isn't as important to me as he is to her, and he's not my dad or a stand-in for him. I ended up talking to my grandparents about the thing going on because my therapist suggested I have someone else to talk to. They're the people I trust most now for this kind of thing. And they were stepping up their supportiveness of me and spoiling me a little, which made Mom realize I must have told them. This was last week. She confronted me and asked me again why I no longer tell her everything, and I told her I don't tell her everything because she tells her husband everything, and that's not what I want. Mom said I was being really unfair. I told her I was respecting her right to tell him everything, but that means anything I don't want him to know. She doesn't need to know. AITA? Our advice. It sounds like you're navigating a challenging situation with your mom and her new marriage dynamic. Your feelings are completely valid, especially given your history and struggles with mental health. It's important for you to have boundaries and feel comfortable sharing only what you're comfortable with, especially regarding sensitive issues like your mental health. Your mom may not fully understand your perspective, but that doesn't make you the asshole AITA. You're simply asserting your boundaries and expressing what you need in order to feel safe and supported. It's understandable that you might feel more comfortable confiding in your grandparents, who have earned your trust. It could be helpful to have a calm and honest conversation with your mom about why you feel this way and how her sharing everything with her husband impacts you. She may not change her behavior immediately, but expressing your feelings could help her understand where you're coming from and lead to a more respectful relationship between you two. Ultimately, prioritizing your mental health and well-being is important, even if it means setting boundaries with your mom. First comment, NTA. Tay. She's not really asking why. She knows why. She's just lazily trying to get you to give up on it. Just don't explain any further or discuss your decision further. I've already explained is all you need. If she cares enough to change her behavior, she will. Anything else is just going to add stress you don't need right now, and it won't change things for the better. Don't be cold. Don't be angry about it. Just firmly tell her I've already explained and then move on. You have grandparents that clearly love you, so lean on them all you need to. The relationship between parent and child isn't so fragile that it'll break from any pathetic jealousy on her part. Also, I'm just going to tack this on at the end: if you feel things are too much and things are becoming too difficult with your mother, please consider talking to your grandparents about staying with them for a while. From your writing, her personality seems counter to your mental health. Don't feel bad about doing what you have to do to survive. If that means taking a break and recuperating somewhere you feel safe and have people willing to listen to you and be there for you, do it. Second comment. ANTA. D. I've been in therapy since I was a kid, and all but one of the psychologists and psychiatrists asked for permission if they felt necessary to divulge anything I said during the sessions to my parents. It just seems like common sense. If I thought I couldn't trust these professionals, why would I tell them anything about me? The ones who asked, I mostly permitted. It was more about controlling who knew of the information than the information itself for me. The one who would share without permission to my parents, since she was an old friend of theirs? Don't get me started on the legality of this. Small cities are weird. I would run circles around her, wasting hours and hours of her and my time on anything that crossed my mind, but nothing remotely important or personal. I had learned what to say, so her report to my parents were bland and unproblematic, and almost entirely false. Once my parents figured it out, they never again made me have therapy with someone like that. The problem here is not you. Forcing you, however indirectly, to divulge your problems to someone you don't trust, in this case your stepfather, is a severe violation of your trust and privacy. Like my parents, your mother learned what happens when your privacy isn't respected. Stick to your boundaries, and don't let her guilt trip you. Best of luck.